This is a live Channels Television event.
Due interference as a regulator. The other 95% interest is owned in an 18:8 sharing ratio by Lagos State Government and the Toleram Group respectively. Of the 75% shareholding owned by the Toleram Group, Federal Government of Nigeria indeed holds an additional 15% shareholding, which is to the value of $107 million that was converted into shares from a pre-2002 FGN grant to the promoters of the Toleram Group towards financing the Viva Methanol project. The vision of the Nigerian Ports Authority is to provide an enabling environment for Nigeria to have the best port in Africa, and the event here today gratefully moves us towards that reality. The fact is that Nigeria, being the largest importer and exporter of cargo in West African sub-region, requires a deep-sea port which can receive large vessels like the very large crude oil carrier and the ultra-large crude oil carrier, Panamax, and the past Panamax vessels. These big ships move cargo more efficiently than the smaller vessels and are the new preference of ship owners. A nation as endured as ours without facilities to receive ships like this thereby cuts itself short. As regulators of the ports in the country, the Nigerian Ports Authority is committed to providing the technical support and regulatory environment that will see to the timely completion of the construction work and ensure efficient operations and management of the port upon commissioning. We will work with all stakeholders to see the deep-sea port becomes a world-class facility and an enviable edifice that can stand the test of time, become an institution that will be the pride of all stakeholders, and encourage more of such investment in our country. As we look towards revamping the decaying port infrastructure we inherited and encouraging new investors in the sector, we're confident that projects such as these forestall the renewal of possible infrastructure in our ports. The resurgence of our economy through the gateway that our ports are, and the creation of a modern, agile, technologically competent and competitive workforce will make our nation proud. I would like to recognize the commitment of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Federal Executive Council, and especially the Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, for his support to this project. I also thank my colleagues at the Nigerian Ports Authority and all other stakeholders whose concerted effort has given us the leap that brought us here today. With the zeal that I've seen in all of us, it is evident that we are poised to take Nigeria's maritime industry to its right place on the global map. On that note, I once again welcome everyone to this event and wish you a very pleasant day. Thank you all for listening, and God bless.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Toleram Group is, of course, famous in Nigeria for the work they have been doing in manufacturing and industry. And, of course, a public-private partnership like this is what we all dream of to drive the nation forward. However, having just those two components would not be enough for such a historical project. And it's indeed the best company that Toleram could find in the world, China Harbor Engineering, that they have entrusted the construction of the port. The construction has started. It's already going into the ocean, so to speak, and this flag-off ceremony is a very important part of recognizing the achievement so far. It's my great pleasure to welcome the chairman of China Harbor Engineering, who came from China, which is no mean feat. Given the distance, it's probably shorter by air. He didn't come by sea on this occasion. But he is here, and although he was a little bit concerned when I mentioned to him that he'd have to name all the Bales and Obas by name individually. But of course, I was merely joking, and it's my great pleasure to welcome the chairman of Harbor Engineering, Mr. YC Lin, to some Lin Yichong, to some as well to come to the dais and make a small address.
Your Excellency, Vice President of Federal Republic Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Your Excellency, the Consulate General of the People's Republic of China in Lagos, Honorable Minister of Transport, the Managing Director of Nigeria Port Authority, and Honorable the Managing Director of Tolerant Grove Africa, distinguished guests from government, companies, media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. On behalf of China Harbour Engineering Company, we are extremely proud to be invited to join you today for this momentous occasion. This flag-off ceremony marks the commencement of the major construction works of Lekki Seaport, the largest port in West and the Central African region. I stand here today as a direct result of the vision of the federal government of Nigeria in creating an enabling business environment in Nigeria to attract investments that will boost Nigeria's economy. This new, more conducive business climate have led China Harbour to have an opportunity to play a major role in this project. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce China Harbour Engineering Company, which is known as CHEC. CHEC is one of the large construction company and investor in China. Today, CHEC has more than 90 branches and representative offices all over the world, which with a global footprint in over 100 countries with more than 15,000 employees and undertaking hundreds of international projects worth more than 21 billion US dollars. CHEC provides a full scope of services in the area of EPC and the PPP contract for both public and private sectors. Our core business included marine engineering, dredging reclamation, as well as road and bridge. Of course, including railways, airport, and also equipment manufacturer. CHEC is recognized as a worldwide regional construction enterprise and has earned a reputation of excellence in its performance, qualities, as well as customer services. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all recognize that a seaport is the commercial gateway of any country, Lekki Seaport will be one of the deepest ports in the West African and the Central African region. With 16.5 meters water depth and one of the most modern, high-efficient ports in sub-Sahara with capacity to both larger vessels, hereby making Lagos by transshipment hub in the West African and Central Africa. We expect to deliver the Lekki port to a high international quality, for which we are known and present a new standard for ports not only in Nigeria, but also in Africa and the world. We are committed to being an infrastructure partner to Nigeria in order to bridge its infrastructure gap in line with its economic recovery and growth plan. We have signed an MOU with Edo State government to develop a river port, and we will commence very soon the expansion of Abuja to coffee roads and the dualization of the coffee to Makati Road, which is fully funded by China Eastern Bank and the federal government of Nigeria. We thank the Nigeria Port Authority, the state government of Lagos, and the Tolerant Group. The great contribution you've made in the past more than 10 years defeats all the difficulties. Now we are here to witness this great moment, the commencement of the major construction works. As we can see now, the brick